Well, good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with me, Pastor Michelle. So today is Friday, August 7th, and we're going to switch things up and we're going to start with the Bible story. And tonight's Bible story is about Isaac and Rebekah. And here's another beautiful painting by Bartolome Esteban Murillo. So there you have it. There's Isaac and Rebekah. And that beautiful picture. So Isaac is Abraham's son. So let's hear about him, shall we? Now that Isaac was chosen as Abraham's designated heir, Abraham was keen to find a suitable wife for him. He didn't want Isaac to marry a Canaanite girl, but someone from his own clan. Most of these young women, however, were still living in Haran. Abraham then turned to his trusted servant and sent him to Haran, where his family was still living. The servant, named Eliezer, soon returned with Rebekah, Isaac's second cousin. All things went however they went, back in the Bible days, right? Rebekah was very fair, and Isaac was delighted. He brought her into the tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. When Abraham died, the patriarch's covenant with God passed to his son. Isaac and Rebekah eventually settled in a valley where there was water, and Isaac called it Sheba. Therefore, says Genesis, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. Eventually, Rebekah conceived twins. Esau, the stronger of the two, was covered in red hair. He grew up to become a fearsome hunter. Jacob, on the other hand, was a gentle lad. Growing up, he preferred to stay in his tent or tend to his father's flocks. The tension between the boys reflects the Bronze Age rivalry between hunter-gatherers and shepherds. And whereas Isaac loved Esau the most, Rebekah's favorite was Jacob. She soon began to plot how Jacob could inherit the birthright, the Bekorah, the rights of the firstborn son to their father's heritage, even though he was their secondborn. She cooked her husband's favorite stew of meat and told Jacob to give it to his dad, pretending to be Esau. Because Jacob was smooth-skinned, she covered his hands and neck with fleece and gave him one of Esau's coats. Isaac, who was nearly blind, touched Jacob's arms, smelled Esau's scent, and gave Jacob his blessing, granting him his birthright. So, there's a lot of stuff that happens in that one story, isn't there? So there's Isaac and Rebekah. So, turning to a completely different kind of story, let's turn to Disney. And tonight's story is centered around Lady and the Tramp. And how I didn't even read ahead to see what the story was. The story is like father, like son. And our story today, and the Bible story had to do with the father and son. So, Tramp had a whole new life. He had gone from being a stray to becoming a member of the Deer household. And now he and Lady were proud parents. But Tramp was finding it difficult to change some of his old ways. Tramp, Lady said gently, you need to set an example for the puppies, especially Scamp. Scamp had an adventurous side, just like his dad. So it wasn't surprising that father and son often got carried away when they played together. They couldn't resist the urge to roll in a puddle of mud and then chase each other across the clean kitchen floor. Aunt Sarah and her two troublesome cats were going to be visiting soon. Lady was worried about how Tramp and Scamp would behave. Don't worry, I promise to keep Scamp away from those troublemakers, Tramp said. And, replied Lady, and I promise to stay away from them too. Tramp added. When the big day came, Lady and Tramp herded their pups into a bedroom and told them to stay put. But Scamp was curious. He slipped out of the room and hid behind the living room sofa. Then he sneaked up behind the cats and swiped at their tails as they flicked back and forth. The cats turned and chased Scamp into a cupboard. Seconds later, Scamp emerged when no one was looking. He and his father shared a victory wink. Father and son were banished to the garden for their antics. When Lady came out that evening, she found that they had dug up the entire garden looking for bones. The two saw the look on Lady's face and knew that they were about to get a lecture. Tramp looked at Lady innocently. You want him to get exercise, don't you? He asked. What am I going to do with you two? Lady said, laughing. Tramp and Scamp dragged a huge bone out from behind the doghouse. Join us for dinner? Tramp replied. Well, okay, Lady said, but as soon as we're done, we're cleaning up this yard. Yes, ma'am, chorused Tramp and Scamp, looking very pleased with themselves. All right, my friends. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful night.